G'day everyone. Proud to say Barkarati is brought to you by Radix Nutrition, makers of the most technically comprehensive nutrition products that have ever existed. Unlock your potential with Radix. G'day listeners, welcome to Barkarati, the sailing podcast. My name's Jordan Spencer and it's that time of the week where we get to hang out with some really cool sailors, but of course I have to share the mic with my two idiot mates. So first off, let's welcome Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, exalted one.
How are you, bud?
Oh, having a great day.
Yeah,
having a great day. Had to cut my afternoon short down the palace just to come here. Not like some who just, put other things first.
Yeah. Sunday evening as we're recording. We tried to fit everything in around Mr. Bice, didn't we? All our timing is swinging on Mr. Bice. So let's see what he has to say.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Nothing.
Nada.
He's doing the Millennium Cup. He's on, I don't know what it's called, the Ball Eagle or the something Eagle. Do you know which boat he's on?
The big one with lots of masts.
I love. He's on. I do know what it's called. It's called Sea Eagle. So for all the Manly rugby league fans out there, that's the boat he's on. And they missed the tide window to get through into the docks. So he is stuck out in the middle of the sea at the moment, waiting to come in. So that's where it's at. That's what's holding him up. So we're missing Mr. Bice. He may join us in a few minutes, but it's all good.
Well, I highly doubt it. I mean, in Bay of Islands, three-master, 200-foot boat. Yeah, right.
It's pretty glamour. We've been getting pictures. So, yeah, no. Okay. Well, we'll get on with the show then, shall we, BP? You happy? We'll just run?
Yeah, give it a roll.
Things are getting interesting because there is a major event coming up that starts in less than a month, or no, just on a month now, and it's a bit weird to start. There's like a lot of different start times and stuff, and so we wanted to get behind it. It's called the Melbourne Osaka. It's this amazing race where people race double-handed from Melbourne in Australia to Osaka in Japan, so 5,500 nautical miles up the Pacific, and that is BP. You're into the double-handers, big time.
It's a long race, double-handed.
It's a long race, double-handed. So we thought we'd find out about that. And to do that, we reached out to a bloke who is, one of those guys when you see him in the boat park, you go, oh, you beauty, he's here. Someone to chat to, good laugh. And we've been friends for a long, long time, and he's doing the race. I guess, what's your record? A couple of 18-foot skiff national championships, runner-up a couple of times at the JJs.
And a couple of dogs.
It sounds like the dogs are a little bit upset. Did the Melbourne Osaka in 2018. And I know why you're doing it now, Schulzy, because you get away from the dog. Welcome to the show, Paul Schulz. How are you, mate?
Hey guys, how you doing? All right. Sorry about the dog. That's the neighbour's dog who has picked the appropriate time to run around and chase after the neighbours. Anyway, so sorry about that. Is it rude to lean out the window and throw something out? No, I should do that.
No, it's just a little bit late. Yeah. Welcome to the show, mate. It's,
yeah, thank you. I'm not sorry to see you biting on here. The eagle obviously hasn't landed, so.
Well, we could say the eagle has landed.
That's it. But no, great to be here, guys. So it's really good to have a chat.
Yeah. Well, we there's two reasons. One, we like chatting to you. You're a good man. Two, there's more than two reasons. There's multiple reasons. Obviously, you've got all this knowledge about Melbourne Osaka that, and you're going through the whole process. And I think a lot of people would want to find out about that and learn about the race, but what you go through in the process. Then obviously you're a big fan of the show, and the reverse curse was front of mind, I think, for you, Schulzy.
So, boys, I was just driving back from festival sales last week in the van and did my usual, 10-hour road trip and 5 episodes of Barkarati catch up. And so it's good to hear about the reverse curse. And I'll take it for sure.
So, Schulzy, let's just talk about you. You're a West Aussie boy by extraction, really, aren't you? But now living in Sydney and you've been in the sailing scene for your whole life, haven't you?
Yeah, it feels like eternity. Born and bred in Perth. So family were New South Wales based originally, but moved over there before I was born, and grew up born in the '60s, and been living there for probably 30 odd years of my life. And it's good town, Perth. I love it. It's a great spot, good, awesome sailing spot. Just got the doctor every day. It's a brilliant thing to sail in. And the little club where we sail from, East Fremantle, is known as the drain pipe. So you get a 25 knot sea breeze, but this thing blows 30 knots down the drain pipe. So
yeah, right,
a good spot to learn.
Wow, that's quite a thing to have, like down the drain pipe. And that's where you met the guy you're doing in Melbourne, Osaka with. That's you and Dave Kenny sort of grew up in that spot, didn't you? Like you obviously been mates for a long time.
Yeah, very much so. We never really sailed together much back in the early days. So we sort of grew up, typical dinghy sailing Saturday and then jump on the cruises on Sunday and go for a burn. But we never really sailed together much. We sailed against each other quite a bit. But we always had this inkling to do the Osaka one day. And, like all good sailing stories, it started in the bar. After a few beers, that sounds like a good idea. What could go wrong? And time goes by, and we both sort of moved into our respective careers, I guess. And 2018 is when we did the last Osaka, and a couple of years before that, I got the phone call from Dave one day. I said, "Hey, I bought the boat. What do you reckon? You're still up for it?" Sort of thing. So that's how it kind of all started. So it's cool.
Yeah. Well,
this of course was in 2018. We did the race with him on the 3200, Sunfast 3200. Ninth in IMC overall, so pretty respectable effort. I guess today will be a lot about a lot of people will be interested in the race, the sort of the tactics, but also the preparation. I mean, it's a big race. This is not something you do on a weekend. I mean, this is a massive part of your year.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, absolutely right. And it's not something that you just get on a weekend. It will be on the water for a month, and you need the equipment that's gonna get you there. And the boat preparation is huge. In fact, I remember back to 2018 when Dave first called us up and I flew over to Perth to have a look at the boat, and walking down the jetty, he goes, "There it is." I'm going, "Is that it?" Like 32 foot. But we had thousands of miles on that boat before we even went to Osaka, and just getting to know the boat intimately, knowing what it could do, and it's a small boat. It took us a while to get there last time, but is very well prepared, and we had some frustrating time on the boat where I think one year we went to do the Fremantle Bali race, 1,500 miles. Got the boat prep done, got 200 miles into the race, and got to Geraldton and had to turn around and come back because the electronics crapped themselves. So that's a bit like that was a bit like the Sydney to Eden race. We did the Sydney to Geraldton race, and had to go home and sort a few things out and go out again. So all the best intentions are done, but sometimes things go wrong. So it's a massive race, and it's a lot of work to do.
I guess that's what BP's alluding to in the fact, though, that it's all the prep, so you get all those things out the way before you get to the start line for the Melbourne Osaka. And I know you're out in Bindler Bass Strait doing training sessions, and I know, there's quite a bit involved in doing this race. Like for each of the competitors, there's a lot of safety checks. There's a whole timeline of things that you've got to go through, isn't there?
Yeah, there is, and it's not because you're going to a different country too. That throws up its challenges. There's different paperwork to do for the race. Lots of visa stuff to worry about as well. And again, you really have to be fully self-sufficient. Like if you need to get rescued, you are going to be a long, long way from anywhere. So medically, you need to be reasonably well competent in doing most things, which I'm not sure I am yet, but anyway. But you're not going to get help quickly. So we're carrying some pretty hefty drugs on board. Even dental stuff. You break a tooth or get a hole in your tooth out there, and you're in a world of pain for a long time before you can get anywhere. So there's a lot to consider in that type of world.
Wow.
And I guess mentally you've got to be in the right headspace too. Like, you are on a boat with one other dude for a long time, and if you don't get on, then that's a whole world of pain too. So we're very fortunate with Dave and myself. We're two quite different people, but we just complement each other really well. So for us it just works. And we just did the Melbourne Hobart a few weeks back, and hadn't sailed together for a long time, and we got back together on the boat, and it was just like yesterday, just like riding a bike. So it was really good. So we're very compatible on that front. And there's been a few cases in the race in the past history where guys have had to pull in and hop off because it hasn't worked, sort of thing. So so it's a lot to think about.
It is a lot. Do you get nervous?
No, it's funny you mentioned it. I think probably more nervous this time because I own the boat. Last time it was Dave's boat, but I think I was thinking about it the other day. The first time we did this race, it's a bit like the unknown. You just don't know what you're getting yourself into. So you kind of get out a crack. What can go wrong? And it's not until you kind of finish the race afterwards you go, actually, we've started a really long way, and we've done a lot of work to get to this point. And it's a bit like sometimes you don't know what you're getting yourself into. You just go and do it, and then you sort of worry about it later, So which I think is probably a good thing. If I'd known about some of the things, I'd probably be second guessing myself. But no, look, I think certainly we're down to the last 6 weeks now, I guess, and we've still got a lot of boat prep to do. We bought this boat earlier last year and haven't had a lot of time on the boat. We've got days instead of weeks or months on the boat, so there's a lot going on trying to get that ready. Obviously, I'm up here in Sydney, and the boat we're sailing is based in Melbourne, so that's a bit problematic. And obviously, Dave's in Perth, so getting together this time to sail together has been challenging, and we're not going to have a lot of on water time. So that'll be a challenge in itself. So. Well, by the time we get there, we should be good.
Well, it's a good point, Jay. It's 5,500 miles, so Melbourne to Osaka, as you mentioned, without stops and without outside assistance. And that dog doesn't really care about our podcast.
Sounds like a squeaky toy, I reckon.
Just a little bit of research I did here earlier, Jay. It's actually 8 back-to-back Sydney to Hobart.
Well, that's how we counted the race down last time. Well, only 7 Hobarts to go.
Sorry,
only six Hobarts to go. It was a bit like that.
BP's enjoying that. Obviously I do a lot of the research, so he's got all the notes, and it's good. I don't mind, BP. You go for it, buddy. So I remember Schulzy, probably a couple of years ago, we were having a chat, and you and I have a bit of a chat, and you were talking about doing the race and trying to work out what boat to get. And, we're throwing ideas at each other, and you've ended up with a J44 called the Secretary. Did I get that right?
He did, yes. And no doubt you're going to ask me why is it called Secretary?
Oh, but I'm less interested in the name, more interested in the boat. Okay. But tell us.
Yeah, so I think ideally we're looking at a boat a few years ago that's something that we could do a bit of cruising in afterwards as well. So my wife Rosetta and our little 9-year-old Harry, we sort of would like to do a bit of cruising at some point, and with Osaka, it's such a diverse race of conditions. So to get an all-rounder boat is challenging. There's a couple of Class 40 that are doing it this year, which should be great. Reaching conditions will watch those guys disappear over the horizon. But you've got to get through the doldrums. There's a lot of uphill work as well. So finding a boat that's compatible to all those conditions is not easy. And we had George Shaw, who's been instrumental in putting this race together for a long time now. We're having quite bevy on his boat late one night, and sort of said to George, if you ever considered selling it, keep us in the loop, because this is a big ideal boat to race there, and it's also a great solid boat to cruise in too. So that conversation, I guess, kept on going, and we now find ourselves as owners, which is lovely. And the J boat, I think they had about 60 built back in the day. They're sort of early 90s boat. Built them for the Newport to Bermuda race.
Yep.
So very, very well built, solid boats. So yeah, it just ticked all the boxes. And George and his sailing partner Robin, they've been sailing it double-handed for quite a long time, and it's pretty well set up for all the gear on it. So from that perspective, it ticked 90% of the boxes, which is great. So it's been good, really good.
Yeah, it's I mean, there's a few J's in the fleet. Obviously, the Oracle Pew 66 Alive is in there as well. There's quite a range of different types of boats. So does that mean, like when you approach the racing to this, how are you thinking about it? Like, are you full bore 100% of the time like you're doing the Vendée in your mind, or are you backing off 10% or 30%, or how are you approaching it?
Look, I think for us this year, this race, we won't be pushing ourselves to the extreme. Like last time, we had a good little boat that rated well. We were 7 years younger, and again with the late. This is like quite late preparation for us this year. We're just not going to have the time on the boat to really kind of trigger it. So for us, this is probably going to be more about the journey. The boat does rate well, so we'll go as hard as we can when we can. But it is a long race too, so you don't want to do stupid things early in the race as well. So
it's a marathon. So it's a marathon. So to do well, you've got to finish. So that's the first key in a long race like this.
Yeah, very much so, VP. I think last time we started, the race got postponed for a day because there was a big front come through, and the second day out we popped the spinnaker in Bass Strait, and then 2 hours later we pulled it down in shreds. That was our big running spinnaker, and again just wasn't a great move. So then we spent the next 5 weeks without a big spinnaker. So you do have to manage yourself quite well, and I think. You just got to be super careful all the time. Prepare.
It's interesting race and I don't understand one thing about it, but I'm sure you can explain it to us. But like this delaying the start thing that you mentioned, look when I go through the sailing, all the entrance and start times and stuff, for the spectators who want to go to Melbourne and watch them start, there's like 5 weeks of starts every on the weekend. There's a whole bunch of different start times, and when your start time is, you can elect. You've got 168 hours to get going within that start. Now your start is this March 16, which seems to be the race start for most of the boats. What's the story behind all the starts there?
Yeah, so 2018 was the first year they did that, and the reason behind that was that, again, being such a long race and so many varied boats entering, you've got some super quick ones and you've got some not so quick ones, and they didn't want to end in a situation where the poor old guy on the finish line sitting there for 4 weeks waiting for 20 boats to come across the line. So they're trying to gauge it so that most of the boats will arrive roughly at the same time, and it almost worked last time. Unfortunately, a little cyclone came through the race course, so a few boats had to pull in up on the Queensland coast, which kind of I think they had 2 or 3 days on shore. And had it not been for that, there would have been a pretty tight, close finish. So that's the reason. Yeah. That's the reason behind it, race. Yeah. So
yeah, right.
So it doesn't make sense, but it kind of does as well. Because again, if it was all one design racing, then off you go. But there is such a big group of boats and different boats doing it.
So the slower boats are starting first in theory, and then the fastest boats starting last.
Correct, yeah. So there'll be 3 starts at a time. There's 4 start dates, but I think there's a little less than 34 going off around the 9th. The bulk of the fleet will start on the 16th, and then Duncan on Alive will start 2 weeks after that. So
I can actually clarify that even further. So on March 2nd, a boat called Curious Roo goes. That's Neil McKinley and Peter Garrett, lead singer of Midnight Oil.
Lead singer of Midnight Oil. He's going to dance his way up the coast.
Former Environment Minister. And then on March 9, 3 boats, Escapade learning to fly in 0 go. Then March 16th, your fleet, which is a heap of boats, or most of the rest of the boats. And then, as you said, there's a 2-week gap before Alive goes with Duncan Hine and Glenn Myler. So, yeah, that's busy.
It is. And good to see you've done your homework. I should check up on it, shouldn't I? Make sure I'm starting on the right date.
I'm here to help, mate. Here to help.
Yeah, good work.
So that's sort of the idea. So, but in that discussion, you mentioned the cyclone, right?
Yeah.
Where the monsoon season's only just really kicked off. It's a late start to the monsoon season. There's a potential.
You can see him grimacing now. You can see it.
Yeah, I watched the news yesterday, and there was talk of 3 cyclones.
I was just about to say there's 3.
Yeah.
There's 3 up there at the moment that look like they might sort of all kiss each other. But it's part of the race, isn't it? You just got to get up there and see how it goes.
Yeah, that's it. And the last time we did it, we as we were coming up the coast, because we were again one of the smaller boats, so we started first or second in the second week, and the cyclone that was building then had actually come down the coast. So we were sort of as we were coming up, it was coming down, but it went inland and sort of and turned into a tropical depression inland.
Yeah. And you got beautiful blue skies and nice wind. Is that what happened?
Yeah, not so much.
Oh.
Blue skies and nice wind on the nose. Okay. But as the further up the coast we got, it came back out and reformed. So we got ahead of it to the north, and then it reformed and went south again. So all the boats coming behind us a week later, they had to pull into things. So the downside with that was 2 downsides of that. They got to spend 3 days ashore having beers and burgers while we were stuck on the Solomon Sea with no breeze at all because the cyclone sucked all the breeze out of it.
Wow.
So So it's always in the back of your mind, and you just don't want to get caught anywhere near one of those things. It's it'd be horrible, absolutely horrible.
But I mean, obviously, as BP said, like there's a bunch of them forming up at the moment, potentials. They're right in your path. Late monsoon season. It's probably the best thing in the world is that they're coming through now, and they're going to be hopefully gone, and you get a nice clean month. But they could just as easily spin up another one if the water's warm. So,
no, I'm thinking they're all going to get it done this next week, and there's no job done for the season then. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. That's the way it works, isn't it?
It's back in the southeasterly trades.
Yeah. That's what was promised last time.
Westerly across Bass Strait, and southeasterly up the east coast, and all the way to Japan.
Well, we had a glamour start last time. We literally had to wait a day. Then, as we came out of the heads, the breeze went south, so we reached to Wilson's Prom, and then went out to the east. So we basically just bore away, kept on bearing away, went way offshore, picked up the good current, and 2-star reached all the way to Queensland. It's fantastic.
Oh,
yep,
magnificent.
Yep.
So, I mean, for the non-locals, non-Australians, obviously most people would know. If you know your currents, there's obviously that East Coast current. Oh, anyone that's watched that cartoon movie, what was it called? Finding Nemo.
Nemo.
Yeah. The East Coast current genuinely exists, and so you got to punch out wide to get outside of that, obviously, because that's running pretty quick at times.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, last time it was we did punch out wide and watched our Japanese counterparts who started at the same time. They were on a 36-foot, 38-foot yacht, I think, and watched them go inshore, and they didn't catch us again until the Solomon Sea. So we made days on them there. So it's really good.
Yeah.
How far out did you go last time?
About 150 miles from memory. So it's a fair chunk. So yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So what's the routing? Which way will you go? I mean, I think I pretty much know, but just for the listener, I've had a look at the maps, charts. Sorry.
Welcome to Bar Karate, the sailing podcast.
Yeah. Well, you like this answer then? Easy. It's easy. You go to the left, get the Wilson's property, turn left and go north.
Schulzy, can you just go grab the UBD and find out where Japan is?
Page 75 from memory.
He even does the from memory stuff. He's a fan.
Yeah. It's page 5.
Yeah. Yeah, routing. So yeah, it's that simple. Get out the edge, turn left. Get to Wilson's Brom, turn left again, go north. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward course as far as where you go. Putting aside, there are obviously quite a few different wind conditions.
Well, but what about like you've got? Sorry to interrupt, Bud, but do you go up inside the barrier reef or you stay outside the barrier reef? Which do you go?
That's the question I was going to ask.
Yeah, in New Guinea, you've got a bunch of islands as you go up through the Solomon, sort of around Solomons and New Guinea sort of thing. You go past the Trobrians where I was born. So, you can stop and see the monument there if you want.
the bronze statue of George Spencer.
But yeah, no, so there's a bit to pick through there. And I guess it goes all the way up like that too as well.
Yeah, it is. And I guess it's obviously weather dependent. Last time we had a great run up the coast, and once we got the Solomon Sea, that hurt us big time there. We just sat in a spot and went around circles for days, and we got caught in some pretty bad current there, which we hadn't routed very well. So we probably spent a few more days in that area than we wanted to. So again, speaking to some past participants, they've some years I've gone right in close to the East Coast, literally bounced them out the shore.
Yeah.
So really, I guess the East Coast will depend on what's happening until you get to Queensland. Generally, once you're there, you would be starting to get the trades, which is going to punch you into the sort of Papua New Guinea and that sort of area. That gets tricky. So you do have a lot of current there. Obviously, you're losing breeze there as well. We spent a week floating around in circles. Getting through that's really quite critical, because if you keep moving and you keep moving north, then you're always gaining there. So that's a tricky place to get through, because you are at the mercy of the winds there. So and it's a very hard place to forecast for. And once you're out of that, then you're kind of hitting the north.
Not to mention the heat.
Oh, it's putrid. It's horrid. It really is. It's just a week of.
Done a lot of sailing up that way, and there's nothing worse than doing 5 knots downwind with 5 knots of wind.
Yeah, it's horrible, isn't it? And even if you want to jump in for a swim, you can't, because the water's 30 degrees. It's terrible.
Wow.
So that was not a nice place too, because it's just so freaking hot all the time. It was just bad. But and the storms are pretty intense too, like a lot of thunderstorm activity up there. So you feel very, very small when you're out there watching a big thunderstorm come through. Going from 5 knots to 35, 40 knots for an hour or two, and then back to nothing. And so a bit of lightning thrown in as well. So it's always a challenge.
Torrential rain.
Yeah, good to have a shower.
I mean, from a sailing perspective, that is a real concern, like that you're going through, as you say, from 5 to 35 knots. And obviously one's on deck, one's asleep. How are you managing that? Like, do you see the squalls? Like, are you really switched on to the squalls, or are you on your radar all the time? Or like, what's the process for you guys?
Yeah, so we took it quite conservative. So if we saw one coming, we would reef early. It wouldn't matter if we're under reefed or not. We just wanted to be safe. And some squalls were 20 knots, so we're undercooked, but others were 35, 40. So we were kind of okay. But for us, it's always been about being ahead of the game and trying to be probably a bit more conservative than you need to be. Our systems are set up pretty well, so we can reef really quickly with one on board. We can drop the main and get that locked away, within 30 seconds.
Right.
The boat we've got now we'll have a cutter rig, so we'll have 2 furlers, so we can pull them in pretty quick. Last time we had to go and drop a headsail and sort that over early, but this one should be a bit easier. So that was okay during daytime. Night time, you don't see them coming as much. We do have a radar on this boat, so we'll have a bit better indication what's happening at night time. So, I guess just trying to manage early. Whenever we see it coming, we get ourselves prepared really early.
I think I just heard the cutter rig BP, the mention of the cutter rig, and so I've just suddenly got vision as triple-headed rig as they're planing up, on a reach with the whole setup. But I think
all good except the word planing.
Yeah, this definitely not going to plane. I do that.
Yeah, it's a J44. But I was going to bring that up with you, Schulzy. You've obviously looked at that and you've gone for the furling sales. Have you got a sort of a furling zero / furling spinnaker set up as well? Or?
No, so this boat's all symmetrical spinnakers. So we've got a pole again, which we've got to get used to. It's a bit weird. But no, we've got a zero. We've got a two, I guess a 1 and 1.5 headsail, which you can put on the front sail. The staysail will carry a 3 or a 4 on that. So we're getting old. We just don't go up the front anymore. So this is like
100%.
Full strings.
But it's the what I do. One of the big things is to make the whole sailing as easy as possible. When you are short-handed, there's no reason to be playing around with big sails when you're short-handed. I mean, you're still going to be going as far anyway. So yeah, it's a really important issue. Yeah,
it is, and you're right. It's you don't have 10 blokes on the side sort of holding the boat down, so you can reefing early is always critical for us. We want to make sure that the boat's standing up and going forward rather than falling over all the time. So and ease of sail handling, it's all about that. It's again, you're trying to manage your fatigue, so you don't want to be going up front every 2 hours, pulling heavy sails down, redoing it again. So furling for whether you like them or you don't, they're a good choice for this kind of race.
Especially in small conditions from 0 to 4 knots.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
100%. Nice.
Yeah, there's no way you'd go to see like in a long race like that without being able to furl everything instantly. Like just the whole Vendée fleet, everything's furling. Like all the 40s, everyone's all the old teams, everything's furling. So it's just your limited crews. That's it. You just get it done.
Yeah, that's it. And as the age thing comes in a bit too, for 20 or 30, and jump up and down the foredeck, sure, but not anymore.
No. I hear you. I think. I mean, I don't really know what goes on in front of a mast. If I'm on a keel boat, I'm good on a dinghy, but on a keel boat, there's no way you're going to catch me up there. That's just not happening.
They don't call it frontier lamping, I think, do
they? That's right. One of the things that's really interesting about the fleet, my friend, is that there's a lot of women in it. It's like nearly half the field is female.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like last time round, there was a couple, Annette, who is doing it again this time with her daughter. Yeah, it's awesome. We've got a really good, diverse bunch of people, and again, that's what's really attractive about this race. It's a race that you need a lot of time to do, and not many people can do it for that reason. And the people that are coming together for this race are really, really interesting people, and a good, diverse bunch of people. We've had the good fortune to meet a few of them now. We'll get to meet more of them over the next few months. But yeah, no, there's a couple of all-girl crews, I think, plus 1 or 2 others as well. So it's really cool.
Yeah, there are. I'm just trying to look. I was just saying the team on Ficker, then Celeste, which has got my old mate Saskia on board. And then I'm just trying to, and then there's a lot of male-female combinations there as well. In fact, you're kind of in a minority, bud. Like there's not a huge number of male-male combinations. Is there?
No, well, I'm the male now relationship on board, so it's all good. Dave may not think that anyway. But no, it's good. It is great, and again, it's one of the good things about sport, isn't it? We're seeing so many females in the sport now, and I was down at our local club today with our son, and the girls are now outnumbering the blokes, and it's just brilliant. And hopefully that'll in future years we'll see more and more that happen. And there's not too many sports in the world where you can compete equally, and sailing's great for that.
It is. Yeah, I think we all agree with that. So, cool. Now, what about on board? Like, are you doing all your weather stuff? Like, you obviously, can you get your own weather information, or is it all, you've got to get the...
No, you can only get what's available, publicly available, effectively. So for us, we've got, we'll just use we've got Predict Wind. We're using Iridium Predict Wind package.
Yep.
And we'll probably get Starlink as well. I think we're just toying up at the moment what to do there. Just purely because the downloads are quick. And if we need more information, we can get it. But no, we sort of just basically whatever's publicly available. So you can't have your own dude sitting on a chair somewhere and telling you where to go.
Oh, BP was just look at the look on his face. He's devastated. He was ready to do all the routing for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. I know why you said you're right, because when you look at you mentioned it sort of before going through New Guinea, but that whole tidal, the currents that are flowing up around the equator there are insane. If people don't know, but the amount of water moving pretty much east to west is amazing. But then, you've got that water drains out to the south through those islands in New Guinea, and then you can catch currents up to Japan as well. So, it's going to be challenging. And then you've got obviously you go out of trade winds into the sort of doldrums, and then you're hopefully picking up some more trade winds. And, Japan is rife for interesting weather. It goes from really cold to really hot there, so it can actually get some quite typhoons, I guess, come through quite regularly with Japan. So, but you're arriving there in the springtime, aren't you? Because you start summer. What do? You go through?
We're starting back into summer and we're coming into their spring. So if we're quick enough, we'll get to see the cherry blossoms blossoming. But there's a lot of current through the doldrums, of course, but there's also another current which is bottom of Japan, which is the Irishedo current, I think it's called, and that can be horrible. That runs from west to east, and it can be sort of 60, 70 miles wide, and sort of 5-6 knots. And so if you don't enter there at the right spot, you're going to end up in a world of pain. So we got absolutely smashed last time. We had a day and a half of sailing through this current, wind against tide, and it was horrible, absolutely horrible. Like just really big seas, no backs on the waves. I remember going to bed one night, just the boat was literally coming off waves and felt like you're hitting concrete off every wave. And just remember where the grab bag is, that stuff. So it was terrible. And the next day, again, we saw a couple of container ships come through that area, and they were rocking, rolling big time. These are big ships. And I was just imagining what these guys on the bridge were thinking, drinking their cup of coffee, going, what are those two idiots doing down there? Yeah. It was horrible.
That's not in the brochure.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I didn't see that page.
Yeah, don't. Tear it out if you see it.
It's a lot to think of, isn't it? And so obviously the process of an older boat getting that ready. I know you've had your rig out for a while. Like, were you beefing that up, or you just sort of?
No. As part of the when we bought off the old owner, we sort of one of the conditions was that if the rig needed to be replaced, which every 10 years they do, that was going to happen. So it had to be replaced. So unfortunately, it took a longer than we'd hoped to get back in the boat. So it wasn't until quite late last year that we finally got it back in. So, but we've got all new rod now, so she should be pretty strong, which is good. Yeah. So hopefully it'll stay up in the air. So.
What about new gear? Like, what have you put on? What have you? You've had to buy a boat. So you had to put anything else on?
No, look, we're fairly budget constrained too, I guess, in this one. So we're doing it on a bit of a shoestring, but I'm very lucky about my sailing partner. He's putting a new main on the boat, so that's great. It'll be nice new main for the race. The rest of the sails aren't too bad. Like they're oldish, but they're still in pretty good nick. So all our head sails we're happy with. The spinnakers have hardly been used, so we've got a good array of gear. So the sails we're kind of okay with. We've got a water maker on board, which is just been serviced recently, so we've got that's all good in good nick. Electronic wise, we're in a pretty happy place there, I think. So so overall, she's in. We've got what we need, which is good. So lots of little things, but overall, pretty happy with the package.
What watch system will you run?
So we run a 4 on 4 off. So again, my sailing partner Dave, he comes from a sort of a commercial naval background. So we run with their watch system, which is so 4 on 4 off. We do a swap in the afternoon from 4 to 6, 6 to 8. So we're not doing the same 4 hours every day.
Yep.
So that it's a long time on, but it's also a good time off. So you get to have actually a really good sleep. Obviously, if we're both needed, we'll get up and do whatever we need to do. But generally, that kind of works well for us. Everyone's different, of course, but that system seems to work pretty well for us. So the hardest shift is always the morning, that 12 o'clock to 4 o'clock shift when your body wants to be asleep. So you do struggle through a bit there at times, but overall, it's not a bad system.
Yeah, cool. Would you do it, BP?
Yeah,
of course he would. Yeah.
I'd do that one. I mean, it's one of those sort of things that when it comes around, you get all excited about it, and then the race goes and disappears, and then you don't think about it again until it comes up. But it's definitely a radar race.
Yeah,
definitely.
It's got that sort of adventure element as well as racing,
I've done a lot of sailing up through the reef and up through around Cape York up to Indonesia. So I have done that, that sort of part of the world, and it's a challenging place to sail.
Yeah.
Never been up as far as obviously Japan and that, but it'd be definitely a challenge.
Mm.
Yeah, very much so.
So Schulzy, you've done. We should talk. We sort of skipped past your sailing career, but you ended up in the 18s sailing with a couple of good mates, with Hugh Stoddart and Noel Kinch. What about in the young days in West Oz in Freo? What did you start out in?
I started out in a little boat called Flying Out. So again, our family, we're not a sailing family, so I'd done a bit of time with the local Sea Scouts, and one of my mates from high school was looking for a crew if he was flying out one weekend, and so I give that a crack. How hard can it be? And I dead set remember shit myself the first time I saw that massive spinnaker. How are we going to manage that? That little pocket handkerchief spinnaker. But so I had a couple of great years on Flying Ants, and then with moths, a little bit of time on cherubs, sharpies, of course. Had many good years in sharpies. Half of them I can't remember, but I'm sure they were good.
It's okay. Not many people can.
That's good. And that was great. It was just a really good club. So a lot of time with sharpies, and we did a match racing for a while. S80s are a big fleet over there, so they had good fleet racing, good match racing, which is good fun. A little bit offshore, not much. Never was really into offshore so much. Did a couple of Fremantle and Geraldton races on a Mum 36, which is a lot of fun. So that was kind of the vibe over there, which is really cool. And then sort of moved to Sydney when I was just 30, 31, I guess. Did a Sharpie Nationals on the way across in Melbourne. And met a young girl over there who was whose partner was sailing 49ers at the time. That was Hugh Stoddart, and he was looking for a crew, and sort of teamed up with him when I got to Sydney, and had a couple of good years on the 49ers, which was fun.
Emily Fewster.
Yep, Emily Fewster, that's it. So it was great. It was I know you always growing up in Perth, you sort of we'd travel east every year. You pack the boats, you drive the car for 2 days and do all these nationals, and you always sort of looked at Sydney as the peak of sailing in Australia, I guess, and to find yourself in this mecca of a land where the 18 footers are here, and the Hobarts and the Hobart boats, and just an amazing time, and just had some great opportunities in Sydney. Like did 5-0s for a year.
Don't say that.
5-0 what?
You did 5-0 did you?
Yeah. I had a year with 5-0s. I even sailed with Sandy actually back in Perth.
There you go.
Taught him everything he knew.
Everyone says that. I mean, I sailed with him in the Ep295 and I gave him a few pointers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was listening to your podcast last week, boys, and I'd landed in Melbourne just before the actuals, and Sandy flew in the same morning, so we had a half hour in the car together, and the day after he won the Worlds, and he was actually not too bad, considering he had no sleep and lots of alcohol.
He hit the wall about 1 o'clock. And, that was it.
There's only so much coffee you can take, isn't it? But had a great. He was doing a nationals back in Perth, and I was it must be early 20s, I guess. And his crew had walked through a glass window halfway through the regatta and tore his knee open. And typical Perth, 25 knots every day. So I hadn't met Sandy before, and a couple of good mates in Perth, Adelaide guys, and Schulzy, want a crew for me? Yeah, no worries, mate. What go wrong there? So of course, the day I stepped on, I was probably 75 kilos dripping wet. There was the sea breeze dropped out, and it was all light easterlies after that, so it was great.
Fantastic.
It's an interesting point you just made. Then you obviously made the trip across to Sydney, and when we were growing up, when I we all used to watch the 18s, and they used to go across to the Rottnest, to Perth, the Rottnest. Did you manage to go and have a look at that? Would that have sort of started a bit of a passion? Because it was all happening then.
It was, yeah. No, we didn't. I didn't actually see it out at Rotto. I was there when they came over, but didn't actually get over to see any. But they were amazing boats back in the day. Obviously, very much in the development stage as well. So very, very tricky boats to sail, particularly in Rotto. Again, you'd always watch the 18s in the cricket.
Just about to say. You turn on the cricket around about lunchtime.
Yeah, that's it. Watch the 18s and switch it on again.
Yep.
So to come here and have, we have for 9 years now over here, and that was just phenomenal. Like you had to pinch yourself some days, being down the harbour doing 20 knots, going, this is not too bad. Not a bad day.
It's ironic is the kite on that flying ant that terrified you is comparative to an 18 kite. I was just thinking the whole of a flying ant could probably fit into the jib of an 18. But it's just quite hilarious. For the overseas, they're a cool little boat. They're like about probably 10-foot little skiff thing with a single spinnaker and two-person. But they run the kite's tiny, it's just so small. They're so small.
Yeah, it was at the time.
It's a pretty good story. Yeah, so you've had this amazing life, and of course you've worked in the industry. You've worked in the industry, and you still do. For the race, have you got any sponsorship that's helping you out?
No, not so much. We sort of doing it self-funded at the moment, so just trying to sort of get through as we can. It'd be great to have a sponsor to help a few things, but it's difficult times too, I guess. So it's always hard to sort of go and get some extra funds on board. But at the moment it's just all self-funded. So
Oh well.
If anyone's out there looking for a sponsor, you know where to find me.
Yeah. Well, so and one way they could help, obviously, is if you're looking for a pair of sunnies, go and buy a pair of bollies. That'll make your life easy, won't it?
That'll keep me in the lifestyle I'm accustomed to. Yeah. So we've got a few bollies on board. So So
look at those funky floating ones, mate. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, not to be used for life-saving device, but they're certainly just a little disclaimer there.
Don't give children the plastic bag's not a toy.
That's it. So they're good. I've been with Ocean Clothing Group now for 3 years, and we sort of do obviously the buy range of sunnies and snow sports and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Been floating around the marine industry for a while now, so trying to get out, but just keeps getting sucked back in. So. It's a good industry. It's good, good bunch of people, and it's a small industry, and everyone knows each other. I was doing the guild thing for 15 years. I'm doing a bit of work for Musto, so we get around, we share around a bit, so it's all right.
Yeah. No, I remember. It's cool. All right. Well, I think we'll let you go there, but I'm really pleased that you took the time to chat to us, because we'll get everyone following. So for the people who don't know, it's the Secretary, J44, the Secretary. Watch out for that. The start for most of the boats is March 16th. Obviously, March but if you're in Melbourne, that's when you'll see most of the fleet heading off. I do want to wish you safe travels, mate.
Thank you.
Yeah. And
no, it's good. It's we've got we're all carrying yellow brick trackers, of course. There is a virtual race as well. So if anyone wants to jump on and do a virtual race, you can race this race.
Got to find my boat.
It's only a month.
In the virtual race, if like, can you turn up with any sort of boat, or you got to? It's one boat for everyone.
I'm not sure what they're using, to be honest. So I don't know, but I'll see if I can find out, let you know what they're using.
I'm doing it on an old team this year.
You're going to do
it? You're going to suffer on the doldrums. You're going to suffer on the doldrums.
I'm doing it in the old team this year, but Jay.
Okay, in the old team. Oh, okay. Done in a week. Done. That's okay.
No. See, I don't. Yeah, these big fast boats, like, you're just not getting your money's worth. Like, we did it in a small 32-foot boat last year. It took us 6 weeks. Got our money's worth. Rupert Henry and Greg on the Whisper. Took them 3 weeks. Paid a bucket load. Yeah, not getting your money's worth, boys?
Yeah. I love it. No, it's a cool adventure. Like, it is pretty cool. Great country to go to. Go from Australia to Japan. Melbourne and Osaka are sister cities, so there's a big tradition. It's been. The event has a lot of history. It's been going since '87 now, and I think it celebrates some sort of anniversary to do with the port of Osaka, I think, is sort of the motivation behind it. But, yeah, it's a race for the sister cities, I guess, is the easiest way to say it. But, yeah, very cool.
Yep. No, lovely. It's good. And World Expo's on this year too, so sort of...
it is.
It's every 4 years... It's generally run every 4 years with COVID. That kind of killed a couple of years. And then with the Expo on this year, that sort of held it back for another year just to sort of coincide with finishing when Expo's on. So, it should be a good fun time to be there.
Massive. Expo is in Osaka, 100%. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Place to be.
Place to be, indeed. All right, mate. Well, get there safe.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Appreciate having me on.
No worries.
Well done. Good luck, and stay safe, but most of all, enjoy it.
Shall do. Thanks, BP.
Good on you, mate.
It's appealing adventure, isn't it, mate? Like, it sounds a lot of work, but you put in the work and you got 6 weeks at sea to enjoy it, sort of thing. So it does sound pretty cool.
One of the most common sayings when you're doing Sydney Hobart, for example, is that you come out the heads and turn right. You know that every mile you're getting colder. The beauty of this race is every mile you're getting warmer. It's got that side of it. But on the other hand, once you get up into the doldrums, I can tell you up in that area, and people in the Atlantic experience it. It can be pretty damn hot and still, and then like you said, 40-knot squalls with rain, and then goes away again. So you've got to be on your toes.
Well, we'll try and reach out to Paul, and he's offered to give us occasional update from on board. So we'll try and do that.
Around the grounds.
Yeah. Pitch report. Put the key in the crack and see how it's going.
Put the keys in the ground, yeah. Bit of player comfort level.
Nobody that doesn't watch cricket will have any clue about those. The poor overseas listeners.
Or who listens to the Wide World of Sports with the 12th man, Billy Birmingham. Player comfort level.
Player comfort level.
5'2" Tasmanian with the flare pants.
I love it. All right, we'll move on. But yeah, best of luck to everyone competing in that event. And the fact that there are so many women is fantastic. So it'll be good to watch.
I hope they were all taking our advice and getting the Radix on board.
Yeah. Well, it's a perfect event for the Radix nutrition, isn't it?
Absolutely.
It's what it's made for. I figure a lot will have all the different, because they got breakfast, they got all the different meals, the protein powders. It's going to be perfect for them. This really, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Absolute no-brainer.
Yeah.
Don't even need to talk about it.
Well, if you're planning on doing an event like this, of course, you guys can go to Radix Nutrition, jump on their website, use the code BARKARATE to get a discount from us. But yeah, enjoy some Radix and see exactly how much you can do. And there's been plenty going on, and we do know some people that have been using the Radix. We'll come back to our friends on Lightship Atlantic. We'll jump back onto that one soon. But one thing we do have to talk about is our friend Lily Zhu, which is one of our most talked about episodes.
Well, I get a message out of the blue last week, and I managed to spend Monday public holiday with her. Little bit of a coffee and a bit of a tour around, and she's in Australia. She's down here doing some stuff. She'll be at the Sale GP next week, and John Emmett, her husband, of course, is coming down. Yep. But as you said, she's doing a lot of work in the media right now, and she's loving it. Yeah,
and part of that includes a talk after Sale GP, the 11th of Feb, 7:30 at Sandringham Yacht Club. There's a book called Golden Lily, which talks about her story. And again, episode 65 of Baccarati from memory is...
And just off the top of your head, I suggest that if anyone is interested, it's called An Evening with Golden Lily. Lily Zhu, of course, gold medalist at London in the, then was the Laser Radials, right? But it was the Ilkas. Her story, to this day, I still think that it's one of the most moving episodes we had. Her back then, she was her English wasn't as strong, but the way she explained it, it blew my mind what she went through. And to meet her in person last Monday was a special thing. She is a true champion of our world.
Yeah, that's cool. I think we're going to catch up. Maybe we can do an ep next week, because I think we'll catch up with her on Saturday night, something like that, because I'll be there for Sale GP.
Yeah, she's mentioned something, because John's in town, so that'll be good.
Yeah. So if you're interested and you're in Victoria over on Tuesday the 11th, Sandringham, Port Phillip.
Get along. Sandringham Yacht Club. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Sandringham Yacht Club. Get along, because the story is unbelievable, and she's entertaining, and it's really, really cool.
All right. Another one, I'll be interested in your view here, BP. This is a bit of a personal story. My beautiful wife, who I've been with for a very, very long time, she doesn't like trying new things. You've got to get it into her mind and then watch it develop in her mind. And so it took me 14 years to convince her to try surfing, and now she surfs every day, and she's got 8 surfboards, and she loves it, right?
And she's on nothing major. She's on the tour.
Yes, no, not even close. But getting her to go sailing, it hasn't been a success, right? And with all the research I do, I noticed the Taser Worlds are in Okinawa in Japan in mid-26, and I don't know if you know Okinawa, but it's basically the same latitude as Hawaii. It's in a tropical resort. It's beautiful blue waters, white sand. It's an absolute paradise. And I said, and there's good surfing on the island. And I said to Jack, look at where the Tasers are doing their worlds, and suddenly she's been interested, right? Really interested, and. So I've gone, this is quite fun. So she's going, let's get a Taser and go and do those worlds. And I've gone, well, you'll have to train. I don't want to, no. And so she's fired up. And at the very same time, I got this message from Susie Kent, right? And Sue's in camo, Hobie 16 world champs. We've gone, last time when they bought the hoodies, I think Camo bought one for Suze for her birthday.
That's right.
And then she ordered one literally the day after without realising Camo. And I was doing them, and I'm going, hang on. And so I rang up Cam, and we went through the whole process. And now with the UV shirts, Suze has sent me, it's Camo's birthday coming up, right? And so we're having this whole banter about doubling up so she gets a shirt as well, and the whole thing. And then she, signs off, lots of love. And to you and Jackie, right? Because Camo and Suze have stayed with us in the past when regattas have been on. And so I said, thanks, Suze, fantastic. And just so you know, for the first time ever, Jack showed some interest in sailing. And next thing you know, Jackie has been inundated, and there's all this information about Hobie 16s come raining down, where they do the events, how the couples work, the offers of free coaching, it's just been hilarious, And I was just going Jackie's going, righto, there's 3 questions, which one will capsize, which is easiest to set up, which one won't capsize, and, which is the most fun. I'm going to get a big adrenaline rush. And Sue's right back, well, the answer for that is the Hobie. All 3 questions, right? And so now there's this sort of war going on between tasers and Hobies and to get Jackie into sailing. And I'm just intrigued. I thought we could throw it out there and put it out there to our listeners. So we've got myself, I'll go sailing. We're not going to be serious. We're just going to have fun. We just want to be in the fleet and have a laugh. I do not want to put her off from sailing. What other boats? Convince Jackie is the competition, right? I reckon we should open it up to the listeners to convince Jackie what boat she should come out and start sailing on. What do you reckon?
I think it's a great idea. Yeah. Let's go through it. So realistically speaking, you got the Hobie 16s, is it?
Yeah, 16, yeah.
Yeah, Hobie 16s. So Hobie 16s, probably a bit more stable.
Yeah, much more stable. That's right. But,
Then the Taser is a bit more performance. So, you've got the she has to hike. I mean, she's going to have to work hard. She likes to keep fit. So that'll be a plus.
What other boats are there out there, BP? Like, so I could see the B14 fleet riding in. I can see
rainbows.
So let's call the crew weight 150 kilos, right? I just look. This is an opportunity for the listeners to promote their class. I just thought it's a nice, subtle way to people to talk about their boats, and we love hearing about.
The issue we've got here is we've got a 95, 100 kilo.
Very handsome gentleman, lot of sailing experience, and a beautiful, lovely 53 kilo, super fit human that's never hiked in their life, who's very stubborn, who's never sailed and, has never shown interest in it, but she is now because she knows it makes me happy.
There we go. So listeners, if your boat that you sail in, your fleet, you think it's the one, then here we go.
Well, it's just a good way. I want to try and come up with a fun way to convince people to promote classes and see what's going on. So that was an idea. So convince Jackie, write in, convince Jackie, and let's see what you got. Another thing that's coming up, of course, my friend, we've already mentioned it, this weekend in Sydney, Sail GP. You fired up?
I am, and I'm actually looking forward, hoping if I get 10 minutes with one Jordan Spencer.
Yeah, you should do, bud. I'm just trying to think. We'll actually be right near your place because the tech site's going to be down on Glebe Island.
White Bay.
Yeah. So should be able to take you for a cruise through the pits if you want. But yeah, we will. And I'm staying over near Wynyard somewhere. So, but yeah, be good. It's a great event. Great from the event organiser's perspective. That New Zealand event was fantastic, but the Sydney one offers such a good backdrop for photos and stuff.
Yeah, there's what I love about these events is they go to these different places all around the world, and they've all got something different to offer. And I believe that the Auckland was a cracking success.
Yep.
And I believe most of the sailors agreed. I mean, there was Tom Slingsby was on Sunrise, which is our morning news sort of TV show, and he was on it the other day talking about it, which was kind of nice and giving it praise. But he obviously, being Australian, is looking forward to Australia very much because obviously you'll generally get breeze. So it's going to be a great weekend.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting though, with, as you mentioned, Bud, there's those cyclones forming up. They might start drifting down the coast, and that will be interesting what it does to the weather. But
we don't want a repeat of last time.
A couple of editions ago, that would be a bit nerve-wracking. But but if you're there, Shark Island, it's probably one of the best places to go and watch the sailing. Shark Island, if you can get a ticket for Shark Island, jump on that. I reckon it absolutely is a winner.
It's a special part of the world. An island in the middle of the harbour there. It's and the view. It's close up. You're on the start line.
Yeah. So definitely worth getting along and enjoying that one. If I was involved, if I was just sitting around on the weekend going, what should we do? definitely worth giving it a go. So I will heartily encourage that for you. All right, moving on. There is another regatta that is about to come up, which I just thought I'd give a little bit of a plug to, is the Bateman's Bay Regatta. That comes up, beautiful part of the coast in New South Wales, down south of Sydney, the Bateman's Bay Regatta. So if you've got any sort of boat, like a small boat, like a dinghy, a VX, any of those sorts of things, run down to Bateman's Bay and do that regatta. I'm just trying to look for the dates as I go, but I'm on Rob Douglas's page because I saw he was promoting it. But I'm back with the Hobart now, so but yeah, Bateman's Bay Regatta. Look it up. It's the easiest thing, but that would be what I would say is the best one. But good one to do. Lots of fun. We had some great messages and feedback coming last time that was on. I think you'll remember, BP. Right. Now, Jack Lloyd Listener of the Week. Our friends at Vycobi obviously come large this week, BP, because we've got the UV shirt. So this month, there's a couple of $100 voucher, and also probably going to throw in a free one of the UV tops. Had an email from Pat just saying that there's been an influx of orders, so well done to all the listeners that have ordered. I haven't yet ordered mine, but good on them. But yeah, they're pretty cool, and we've gone full professional, BP, with the model and everything, getting the photos.
It's unbelievable.
It's a whole nother level, isn't it?
Yep.
It's very much cool too. So if you want to jump on them, but yeah, send us whatever you want. Send us an email, cheers@barkerati.com, and we'll go with that. One person that did send us an email is Connell Green. Go on, BP, you got that one?
I was just about to say it's a good opportunity here to plug it. If you do want your event discussed, get on it, because this is a perfect example of what we're talking about here. Connell Green wanted to talk about the Wasp Nationals in Sandy Bay and Hobart.
Yeah. So he wrote, "G'day legends, big fan of the show and everything it does for the sport. Thank you. Had to drop you a line about the 25 Wasp Nationals in Sandy Bay, Hobart, because, well, the game has changed. This was the first event worldwide to run the new Wasp V2 rudders. And let me tell you, they are spicy. And I think he means that in a very good way. We clocked 27.9 knots in just 20 knots of breeze. So, yeah, they send. It also means no more praying to the falling gods before every jibe in the waves. So extra stability and glide time in manoeuvres has given the boats a serious performance boost. The team at Wasp has definitely raised the bar. Sounds like someone's trying to get a free Wasp here, making it much harder to blame the gear when we mess up. As you boys know, the Derwent can go from glass out to 30 knots within one leg, keeping the race committee and competitors on their toes. But despite the chaos, we still got in 8 super tight races. In the end, Lewis Tilley took out the win, and he, our mate Connell Green, took out second. So well done, Connell. And then Nicholas Dunn in third, rounding out the podium. Then it was a mad rush to pack the boats back into the boxes for a flight back to Geelong, just in time for final day of Festival of Sales, only to bet with no racing. Yeah, they had no wind on the Monday. This year is shaping up to be huge for Wasp Sailing, with the Worlds in Weymouth racking up 180...
No, that's Weymouth.
Yeah, sorry, Weymouth. They got 180 entries in the first 24 hours and currently sitting at 215 boats signed up. It's going to be carnage. Fair winds and full sends, Connell Green. That's a great email. That bit at the end just gave me just 215 boats already signed up.
It's incredible, isn't it? Yeah.
It is fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic, and more power to them. I'm extremely happy to hear that. So congratulations to first the team behind, but also all the entrants and competitors. And it sounds like the new foil, the rudders are going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, the technology, I guess you'd call this sort of some form of trickle down, because the technology of foil boats are just continually growing, and so if they can get easier to sail, the fleet's only going to get bigger, and the Wasp sits in that marketplace where it's it's high performance, but it's also more manageable, and the price also is a huge thing. So
yeah,
I'm all for the Wasp. I love it. I reckon it's a great class. I just wish I was 20 years younger.
20 years younger and probably about 20 kilos lighter too, my friend. But yeah, fantastic. So good work, and we'll follow with interest. But thank you so much for sending that email in. Another email from one of our all-time favourites on the show, Denise. Denise Delmundo. You obviously are best mates with her now, BP.
Look, she's obviously she loves the show and she loves what we do, but she loves having a bit of a laugh.
She does. She sent in all the photos from the UV top, and then put phrases that Pat offered to the model when doing the photo shoot, and it's bloody funny because there's one shot where the model's got his arms crossed and looking down towards the feet, and the suggestion is, what the hell is on Bicey's feet? More bloody Crocs? Then there's the pulling the sleeves up, because pulling up the sleeves, because clearly there'll be some bullshit BK going on today, Barker 80 going on today. And then there's a shot with the model with the hood and the hand around the head, and the tag.
Well, there was only one thing for this, wasn't it?
How the hell will Jay's head fit in this hood? Just not. Classic. Ordering mine now, so good on you, Denise. That's super cool. Yeah. Anything you want to add? We have to pick a winner.
Look, I think just to expand on that, Pat from Vycobi is really happy with it. It's been a cracking week. We're seeing a little bit of few sales, so it's good for us because we're generally running a negative.
Yeah. Very much. Yeah, no, it's cool. So, yeah, jump on board. We've still got some warm hoodies if you're chasing those as well. But, yeah, all good. Just go to the website, Barker 80, and you'll find all that. All right. It's time for...
Ole, 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 ole. It's hot time
without Bice.
Without Bice. Yeah.
I do want to mention one, BP. I got to mention this. I didn't mention it last week, and I felt so bad all week. The VX1 Nationals was won by the Beast sailing team. Now, the Beast is Beast number 5 is it's owned by my mate Michael James. Jamesy is the world's nicest bloke, and he just gives and gives and gives. The Beast is the nickname his dad used to have before he passed away, so it's named after his dad. And he wrote in, the Beast sailing team won the Nationals, right? Now, it was a heap of firsts for the kids. So it's the first full family crew to win the VX1 Nationals.
Which we're talking about the Barneys.
Yep, the Barney Army. That's it, exactly. I'll name them in a minute. It's the first female crew member to win the VX1 Nationals. It's the first youth skipper to win the VX1 Nationals, the first full youth crew to win the VX1 Nationals. They won first in races 3 and 4 out of 4 races because it was blown out for most of it. And Mick has basically lent these kids this boat. And then not only did he had the Beast 4, and then he's gone and bought a new one. He's not sailing it. The kids are sailing it. So he's just give. And Hayden Barney, who was in the team with Mick for a long time, once that opportunity came up, brought his brother, Jordan, not me, and Ayla and his sister Ayla on board. So Jordan has taken the steering role. Hayden's up front and Ayla's in the middle. It's a youth team winning in the VX, and that's a really competitive boat these days, a pretty good fleet of sailors, and it just made me so happy. And I wanted to give I know for 100% for a fact that the family will be listening because they got their own little sail loft, and Barker 80 will be on Monday, straight on being played in the loft. So big congratulations. Made me very happy to see that, and I did want to mention it, that's all. So, yeah.
Nice one. No, it's good.
Yeah.
And it was windy.
Super windy, yeah.
Yeah. I came back on that Friday from Melbourne and got called up to help a mate to make sure some boats were okay and tied up here in the harbour, and it was absolutely stinking.
All right, Millennial Cup. So New Zealand Millennial Cup. Now, this is not a race for millennials. It's named after... It's a super yacht regatta. So there's a couple of different classes, but basically the monster super yachts, and then the Pacific Cup class, which is sort of your maxis and older style boats. Our illustrious colleague, Nick Bice, is racing on the triple rigged Sea Eagle, as we mentioned at the start of the show. And I don't know if you've actually seen any of the results at all, my friend.
I haven't seen any of the results as of yet.
Race one?
I don't know. I don't know. There was a lot of wind today.
Race one, Sea Eagle in first.
Oh, there we go.
Race two, Sea Eagle in second.
No,
So,
Bicey.
hey,
It's all Bicey.
All Bicey. Yeah, no, congratulations. So Millennial Cup ongoing, and go the Sea Eagle. Obviously, go Manly is probably the easier way to describe it in BP. We could just say that, go Manly.
Yep.
Yep. For those who are fans of the Vendée, obviously there's a big storm went through and gave everyone a bit of a nightmare. So I know one boat dropped their rig and quite odorous. The 18s this weekend had their 90th anniversary weekend. Did you catch any of that, BP?
I did not. No, I didn't. I was not in that area.
It was pretty cool because they went. They sort of did this whole thing where they had these
The marathon.
Yeah, the marathon around the harbour, which is good.
Yeah.
Now, let me just say, for anyone watching any videos like where they're broadcasting, do not sign up and give your information. There's no streaming videos of racing events where anyone's asking for that. That is a scam. And if you get it on a message on Facebook to watch the 18s or whatever, it's a scam. Just go to the 18 website or search it on YouTube. And they had this event, staggered start. So they had like Cherubs and NS14s and 12 skiffs and 14 skiffs and 16s, the B14s, all starting and staggered times. And obviously the 18's going last and trying to catch, and they're trying to get everyone down at the end. But Will Beck in his Cherub named Robbie smashed everyone. You didn't see it, BP, but he just broke away from the start.
I didn't see it, but I did hear the result. I was with his father today down the Palace and he was chatting about it. So
what did he say? What did he say?
Oh, he just said he just smashed it.
He absolutely smashed it, mate. He was just gone, and he was playing it well.
Those Cherubs, and it was a beautiful day here in Sydney. It was a sort of a east northeast, which is a bit of a funny one to have, but it was perfectly suited for the Cherub. They were able to run their littlest spinnakers all the way up, nearly all the way back. So it was,
absolutely. That's exactly what it was. So yeah, very cool, very cool. Festival of Sales, that's been and run. There's too many different classes to mention, but that has been run but as we said, all racing on Monday the 26th was abandoned, so a little bit of a shortened event, but if you Sailor Girl did all the coverage, so if you're a fan of hers, you can probably find everything or just go to the website and have a bit of a look-see. I would suggest on that one.
Absolutely.
Cool with that. And then the last thing I've got, my friend, is to mention that our friends on the Lightship Atlantic have come in to finish. So for those who listened back on the show a few weeks ago, probably a month ago, it's the world's toughest row. And so two young ladies rowing across the Atlantic, Nia and Pammy, trying to raise funds for kidney research in Wales. They were surviving on the Radix and sent us a video.
Wales kidneys.
Yeah, so kidney. People get kidney damage and have to get kidney
I
transplants.
thought you said Wales. I thought you said Wales kidneys.
Yeah, no, Wales, the country, Wales. The Welsh.
I just had this vision of lots of whales with sore kidneys coming in to get checked up. What's going on?
Yes, well done. But yeah, I noticed that they were in today. I saw a note last night that 100 kilometres to go, or 100 miles to go, and they were paddling in. And,
bloody big effort.
Massive effort. So congratulations, Nia and Pammy. I know they listen. So Nia's the Welsh person on board. It's a good one. So it's a big one. And if you do want to donate, or you're a Welsh listener and you want to support, then you can still go on and make that donation. So Nia actually donated a kidney to her brother, not a brother to
That's
her
right,
kidney. Yeah. So it's a big thing for them, and it's pretty important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And, the relationship, it's been good. We've had a lot of emails with that group, and we're more than happy to give it a support. So, yeah, pretty cool, my friend.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, it's always a downer not having the Aussie Ocker having a chat to.
Yeah, he's a good.
He sort of feels a gap.
He does. Yeah,
a
he's
bit,
got a use.
just a bit. Yeah, he's got a use. But I'm sure he's having fun, and well done on his wins, and I'm sure we'll hear all about it next week.
Yeah, well, I think he's got at least the next 7 or 8 weeks away, being in the Caribbean, so it's going to be awfully difficult to pull everything together with Sail GP as well this weekend, so we'll do our best. We're going to try and pull something together, but thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you keep enjoying listening to us at Bar Karate. Remember, email us at cheers@barkarate, and then also, if you want to get your Radix Nutrition, jump on to Radix Nutrition website, and get a 10% discount on us using the code Bar Karate. And if you want
that goes for all the Melbourne Osakians too.
Yeah, that's it. Load up now. It's the perfect solution. And then I guess if you want to look cool in the boatyard, you've got to look cool
with
your hoodie, your UV top with the hood. Vycobi have got them in stock, so just go on to them.
And the reports are the sending of these items to you is very rapid.
Yeah, all around the world. Anywhere in the world, it'll be boom. So jump on board, check out all the Vycobi gear while you're there as well. Very cool. They got a new Mark IV of their PFDs just coming out right now. So, yeah, cool.
Love it.
All right.
Okay.
Good night.
Righto.
Have a great week, everyone. Thanks for listening in. I'll speak to you soon,
Cheers.
BP.
Yeah, mate.
Sounds like your voice singing, BP.
Yeah, I know.